All right, guys, got the A-pillars out of the truck. Got them up covered with some cheap tape, laying some fiberglass down with some resin. I'm getting ready for my three-way active. I got some 3-inch and some tweeters that are going on the A-pillars, and this is the basic mold for them. This is the stuff I'm using, the fiberglass resin I'm using. This is way better than what you get at the hardware stores, etc. Seems to not get as hot, doesn't want to warp your plastic, doesn't want to warp the mold itself, and it doesn't yellow real bad. All right, that line you see right there, that's where I'm hoping the center of the 3-inch speaker will be. The tweeter be just above it, and hopefully everything will, turn out all right. But we're going to play with it and see how it goes. All right, guys, here's the pillar with the fiberglass mold on them. I just did a rough cut to trim them up a little bit. Next step is going to be putting them in the vehicle and doing a mock-up of the speakers and trying to figure out how I'm going to do the speaker pods. Just figured I'd give you a sneak peek of what I got going on so far. All right, this is my first attempt at what I think I might be doing up here, and I'm really not liking this at all, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to mock it up and see, try to get the tweeter and that 3-inch speaker up here on the dash. God, it is so big though, but I'm going to try it. We'll see how it goes. I'm trying to show you how much view it blocks. If you're looking out the window, you see that areas of the windshield is blocking. Look at the carnage. So this is some 1/2-inch PVC plastic. You can see I've got a little cutout and everything. I made up 4 of them. 2 of them for the speakers, and then 2 to go over the top of them that I can put the grill on. Made a bit of a mess. Plastic cuts easy, but wow. So you can see I got them mocked up on the molds. I'm not liking it. I don't want anything that big and gaudy up there. I kind of knew that from the MDF piece, but I figured I'd at least have to give it a shot. So this is what I've come up with. I took those pieces off. I got them mounted. The line you see around that right one is kind of the idea of what I think the pod's going to be and how small it's going to be. Again, just kind of playing with it, trying to see how it's going to look. All right, guys, here's the new pods. The last ones were just too gaudy, too big, too terrible. This is just going to be for the tweeters. The one that you see wrapped on the right, that is going to be the passenger side. The other one is the driver. I'm about to wrap it with that stuff there. Hot glue it into place, get some fiberglass resin on it, and start the curing process. Once it's cured and I cut out the tweeter hole, backfill it with a little milkshake, and start working on the pillars. These things are wrapped. Got the first layer of resin on them. They're out here drying. All right, here's the pods. Here's the A-pillars. You can see I put a little lip that goes around it to kind of mold it into it, and that's the inside the lip. You'll mount it up there. They're held in with magnets. That little lip's just to help kind of make everything flow and look factory-ish. Got all these pillars and a couple of pieces of this vinyl glued up with the contact cement, and you get it at your local hardware store or online. Gray vinyl. Got it glued up. Got a few more spots right here that just got to finish drying up. Now I'll mate the 2 together and show you what it looks like. So this is the driver's side. That one is wrapped. I've got the speaker pod in just to kind of hold these edges that I have right here down, and hopefully they'll stay glued down into place a little better with that thing sitting there. I've got that clamp there because this one corner keeps wanting to bubble up a little bit, so I got a clamp there just to hold that down. But looks pretty darn good. There's a fingerprint on it. That's not a bad spot or anything. I just gotta clean it up when I'm done. I haven't made up my mind if I am going to wrap this in the same as this, or I have some gray, almost identical color of suede. Then I'm thinking about trying it first, the suede, seeing if I like the contrast. If not, I've also got some speaker grill cloth and a lighter gray vinyl and well, I've got some options. But that's what it looks like when it's wrapped. And once I get the other one wrapped and maybe figure out a little bit of what I'm going to do on them, I'll cut back in and show you some more, guys. And they're turning out fantastic though. A lot better than what it would have been with that 3-inch up there with it. It would have just been gaudy. Ugh. Anyway, I had them wrapped. I showed you that. And I was trying to figure out what I was going to do about the little pods that the tweeters are in. I tried wrapping them in the same vinyl. It kind of stretched when I was stretching it around some of them curves. It kind of stretched some of the texture and made it look, I don't know, wrinkly and old and ugly. So I didn't like it. The suede, it didn't flex or stretch at all. So there's no way I'd have got it around the pods. The speaker grill would probably look okay, but it needs to wrap around the back, and you need to have a dado groove to glue it, because you can't glue it on the any area that you're going to see. You can't use spray adhesive or anything like that because it'll show through. So it has to be done from the back, and I just don't think I have the ability to make a good groove around these, a good consistent groove. So, and I really like the way they look in this satin or flat black, whatever that black is. And I think I'm going to leave them like that for now. In the future, if I decide to change my mind or whatever, it'll be easy enough to do whatever I decide. If I find some suede or something that's 4-way stretch or whatever, I'll probably buy some and attempt it on them. Man, I like the way they look. That vinyl really matches the color of the interior. It's pretty spot on. Just to give you an idea, those are what the B and C pillars look like, and that's just plastic. This has a little more texture, a little more grain, if you will. But I don't mind that at all. Yeah, I think we're going to call that A-Pods done. Check out the carnage. Got mess everywhere. That's from making the speaker adapters. That plastic is easy to cut and all, but boy, it makes a mess. That Jasper circle cutting jig, if you don't have one, I highly recommend it. Makes things super easy. It's got everything measured out for you. I like it. Wasn't very expensive either. You can make your own, but that one sure is convenient. Alright, so I got those 3.5s that are no longer going up in the pillars. I got to put them in the door. So I took a mounting ring, duplicated it, and then added 2 additional rings to them. So as you can see, there's 6 pieces there. They're only glued up in groups of 3. The spot they're going to reside in the door is going to be kind of 45 degree up to the left. So right in this general area here. And as you can see, this is not a flat spot. I can't mount them to the door like I hope to without some significant modifications. But as you can see, I got a piece of 1/2-inch speaker ring holding this one on. So that's about how much clearance I've got behind the door panel. The speaker is about 1.5 inches deep. There is less than 1.5 inches deep from this grill to the base of that door panel right there where that factory tweeter was mounted. On the back side, this side is just under a 1/2 inch, but I've got a 1/2 inch of play in the door over there behind that panel. So what my plan is I've mocked up, like I said, 3 each right here. So that's 1.5 inches, that's 1.5 inches. I'm going to take them and I'm going to sand an angle, probably a 1/2 inch, whatever, just that difference. And that way I can kind of aim them up towards the driver, and that side over there, going to be the same way. It'll be up towards the passenger, at least some. Every little bit helps with aiming your speakers. So it would have sounded much better to have those speakers up on the dash in one sense, but the other sense is there'd have been a lot of reflecting off the glass and beaming issues, etc., or imaging issues rather, not beaming. So it's still going to be a struggle down there, but I'm not trying to do any kind of sound quality competitions or anything. I just wanted to sound good. I just wanted to have decent front stage, hence the three stage active that I'm doing. So I'm about to take my sander here and sand them down. You don't use your belt sander and your vise like that? You don't know what you're missing. That's the best way to do it right there. Got them angled. Hopefully that'll help with the sound quality. I'm about to put them on the door skin and try to put the door skin back on the door. Make sure there's not going to be any clearance issues. Doing the fit up. I hope this camera's picking it up. It kind of looks weird on the screen here. But you can see that spacer I made. I got the grill just sitting down here, just kind of pushed down. We got a little bit of contact just on this high spot, which I knew we were going to. I told you there's only like 1 3/8 gap. This is 1.5 inches tall, but it's easier to take material off than add material. So I wanted to just take it slow, do a test fit, and so I'm gonna pull it back apart. I'm gonna shave a little more off the bottom of that, a little bit more of an angle. I'm gonna fit it up again, and then put this grill on, make sure everything clears. We're getting there. We just ain't got it yet. All right, just took a little more off. Man, I think we got it. No touching, grills all the way down, no touching at all. That's what it's gonna be. And I just got to drill the holes for the speaker, mount it to the door, paint it a dark color so it doesn't stand out like that. And that'll be where the 3-inch mid-range lives. Got the speaker mounted, it's in there. I got the bracket that I made, or the ring that I made, painted, I don't know, whatever I have in the cabinet, something dark, just so it didn't stand out. I don't know if the camera's gonna pick it up, but you can see it in there or not. But it's in there, there's clearance. That's the factory grill just on. It's still loose. So I'm going to show you. Oh. So that's what it looks like right there. Angled, kind of at a 45-degree angle up. I went ahead and made this, I don't know, maybe a 1/4 inch bigger all the way around. I'll take a Sharpie or something and hit this edge just to black it out a little bit. But that hole there was like barely 5 3/4. I've got a 6.5 in there now, so I just widened it up a little bit. Got to do the other door. I ain't gonna bore you with showing you that same thing. So, but I'm gonna get them both knocked out and show you what's next. All right, guys. I don't know how well this is picking up on camera. It looks kind of funny on the screen, but hopefully you can see. That's the door pod or door speakers in the little factory location, mounted 6.5 or whatever down there. And then I showed you the rings I made for those. Same thing over here. All right, guys. Subwoofer, I don't know yet. I really, I just haven't made up my mind which route I want to go. I can either buy 2 slim subs, 1 slim sub, or I have a sub left over from the S10, and I could simply buy another one of them and have to save some money. And they're not bad subs. I'm going to show you. It's filthy. It's been in this storage for a couple of years. That's it right there. Less than 6 inches tall. Might work pretty good underneath the seat in the Sierra, but I would want more than one. So if I buy another one of those, and I know Dayton Audio still makes them, it's only $250 or so, $230, something like that. But once I decide on the speakers, that's when I'll figure out what I'm going to do box wise. So the next Sierra Audio Series video will be featuring the subs and the sub box build. So stay tuned. Alright guys, a little update. Before I end this video, I decided one last thing I'm going to do is just make this little temporary mock-up box just to try this 110 and see how it flows with the rest of the system. It'll give me an idea if I'm going to need another one, or if one. Now this box is a little smaller than what this speaker requires. It's I don't know, overall dimensions is 13 by, I think 13 and a half by 18, and then the actual box section here is about 6 inches, well 7 inches, a little over 7 inches deep, and the speaker's only 5 inches deep from this rim down to the magnet. But that speaker requires a half cubic foot in a sealed enclosure. This box with that speaker's displacement is probably just under a half, probably more like 0.4. But this is just a mock-up, just to give me an idea. I got some polyfill in there, and I can put this in the truck and I can mount it facing up like you see it. I can mount it facing down, which is the way I'm preferring to build the final enclosure, but at least this way I can throw this in there, give me a little time to think about it, see what I want to do. Then I can pull the trigger on whatever and start building an actual finished permanent box. This little crappy thing is just something to mock up. Maybe I'll use this in future projects, maybe I'll use it here in the shop, whatever. But it didn't take me but probably an hour to put this thing together. Glued and brad nailed it, that's all it is. Some MDF. This side here is 9 inches tall. This side here is 8 inches tall. That's what I've got to work with under the seat. 13 this way, 18 this way. So, all right, just figured I'd fill you in.